Welcome to We the 98ers. We don't even have our stable mate, the Stash, here with us, having some technical difficulties. Hopefully he'll join. But we do have the Professor, Thomas Schooley. We've got Mark Romano, and you've got myself, and you've also got a Tampa Bay Rays World Series loss. Second time in franchise history, the Rays couldn't get it done. Man, there's a lot to talk about. I don't know. Is there a lot to talk about in this one? I think there's one topic that's probably tugging at us all right now. And I think we're going to talk about that quite a bit. And you guys know what that is. But I guess let's go around first and see if we can avoid that topic with your thoughts of the game.
Well, from the start of the game, I was kind of shocked when it wasn't Buehler on the mound. And when I didn't see, because we had talked about that the other day, and when I didn't see Buehler on the mound, I was like, okay, this could be the Rays' opportunity to actually get to a Game 7. And then there was no hits except for Randy. I mean, well, there's hits, just couldn't get anybody across the plate except for Randy. And that was the thing that we talked about in all series. If you can't get the runners in, we're not going to win a series. And it showed it tonight.
Yeah, it was kind of the same old story, man. You know, it was like we had a couple of first couple of innings, a lot of traffic on the base paths, and just couldn't get the big hits, knocking the runs, and kind of get us off on the right foot. The other night it was kind of the same thing with Kershaw, let him off the hook, and it's been, to your point, you know, sort of like the theme here, not being able to capitalize with men on base. And you know, we can go down the lineup, and we talked about it before we came on, of the regulars and the averages and just the lack of hitting up and down the order. Just not going to win you very many games, especially in the postseason. And that was really the story of the game tonight. Just not enough hitting. And we'll talk about the other big topic as well. But you know, not that it doesn't matter, but it almost doesn't even matter if you can't score. If you can't score any runs yourself, then you're not going to win very many games. So it's a kind of a consistent theme here throughout the postseason for the Rays, and unfortunately, it reared its head again tonight. And that's it.
That's it. And we do have the Stash, a rare extreme close-up of the Stash. Everyone, so take it in.
Right.
Hey, you know, as much as I love the Rays, I love my family and my friends more. So it was a birthday dinner tonight. I tried to get home in time. I actually was banking on a win, so I didn't feel like I was at the pressure to be there for tonight. I figured you guys could handle it if I didn't make it there with a win. But nope, they let us down, and we've got Marty McFly shooter and barely visible Stash.
We're fading fast.
It's like Halloween edition stash. Like I'm coming
Someone
to you
always
from the
has to
dark.
be in a car, don't they?
They're like, am I really here or not? Yeah, I'm like the creepy guy with a mustache in the car being like, hey, let's talk about the thing we don't really want to talk about. And it's not Kevin Cash. Kevin Cash made no mistakes tonight. So don't let me hear you. No, he didn't.
Let's get the responses from the chat on that one. So
hey, I don't care about the chat. I don't care about the chat because the chat's wrong if they say Cash is wrong. 2 runs given up. What happened?
Right.
Cash took out the number 1 guy.
Right.
Well, late a 3rd run. That's not on Cash if he gave up a late home run. How is that on Cash? How's that Cash's fault? They gave up a late home run. Anybody? Bueller?
No.
Bueller.
But no,
they only gave up 2 runs.
Oh, wait. They had given up 0 with Snell. 0. And then it's not even
just matter. Stop it, bro. Stop
not
it.
Even
the
just
best offense in baseball. That's the best offense in baseball. You only gave up 2 runs. That's not on Kevin Cash. Kevin Cash did exactly what he's done the entire season to get this team in the position for us to even have this fucking show. So if you're going to sit here and say it's Kevin Cash's fault that they lost this game, then you're fucking wrong. And I'm just going to say it straight up right now.
Oh, no, 75% on Cash.
No, it's not. No, it's not,
Yeah.
Thomas. No, it's not.
Yeah.
100% is on that batting lineup for not doing their fucking job.
Well, yeah, they haven't done it the whole thing.
Season, they couldn't score more than 3 runs.
But even if you don't want Snell in there, then why do you put Anderson in? Why don't you put Fairbanks in?
Thomas, really? You're questioning Kevin Cash right now in this moment. You're seriously going to have the balls to question Kevin Cash?
No, I said I hate second guessing them.
To question Kevin Cash right now. They gave up 2 runs. It's not Kevin Cash's fault that the lineup didn't do their job, dude. How is that Kevin Cash's fault?
I didn't say that was his fault.
Do their job at the plate.
It was his fault pulling out Snell.
That's ridiculous. They did it for Morton, and you said it was fine. When it was Morton last series and they won, it was fine, right?
Morton wasn't doing this good. Morton didn't do 1 hit.
He was doing just as well.
No, we did not have a pitcher that has done 2 hits.
Thomas, it's the same thing, bro. It's the same situation. And you didn't question him then because he got the win. They didn't win tonight, and now you're going to throw him under the bus? 75% on Cash? No. 100% of the reason that this team is in the World Series is because of Kevin Cash.
No, because of the pitching.
Which he banked on tonight.
We both agree that
on his pitching staff. He banked on his stable. Aren't you wearing a 98er shirt right now?
Yes.
He banked on his stable.
I know.
That's what he's done all season. Now he's wrong for that? Now he's wrong for banking on his stable?
Do I think he was wrong on pulling him that early? Yes. Absolutely.
All right. Well, I disagree, and I think you're completely wrong.
I think it comes down to the analytics versus kind of going with your gut, you know? It's tough to pull someone that's having a good game like that, but to the Stash's point, Anderson comes in, strikes out everyone, then Cash is a genius because Snell could have gave up a home run the next pitch. But there is something to be said, and I can only compare it to ice hockey because that's the only sport I've ever really played. You know, when you're fucking feeling it, you're fucking feeling it, right? And at that point, like, you don't know what could have happened, but I don't know. Personally, I probably would have let Snell go a little bit longer till he was in a little bit more trouble. But that's hindsight. That's not what Cash did. He did what he did all season, and it didn't work out.
Mark.
That is true. I mean, again, I hate to disagree with you, Stash, but I think he could have gone longer. 73 pitches. The guy was untouchable. And granted, we don't know how it was going to turn out. I totally agree with you. But at the same time, I feel like he could have gone longer. And who knows? He gets through 6 innings. The offense stunk as usual tonight. So you can't blame that, on Cash, of course. But I just think that my personal view, I would have liked him staying. We always talk about how these guys don't go long anymore, and they pull them after 4 innings, and the guy finally is lights out, and it's like Cy Young Snell, and we end up pulling him out after 73 pitches. So just a difference of opinion. Again, the bats weren't enough anyways. If you go down the averages, I mean, everybody's in the hundreds pretty much, except for a couple of guys. So there's why you lost. Still question. That's why you lost the series. It's not this move tonight, but it's just one move that people can go back and look at and say, man, oh man, maybe it would have turned out differently.
Yeah, there's no way we would have won this game 1-0. So, I mean, no matter. Stash is saying something, but we can't hear him. We can't hear you, Stash.
Shooter, did you mute him?
I did not hear.
He's yelling about something, but we can't hear him.
It sounds good. Time out. We can't hear you.
I don't know. I don't know what he's saying.
I can't unmute him. Can't unmute your microphone is connected. Did it say disconnected? Unmute mic.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. There you go.
Okay, this is fucking whatever, dude. Last series when I was talking about Morton going, you guys were like, "Oh, that's not the way a game is anymore," and this is how the Rays play baseball, yada yada yada. And now they do the same thing with Snell. You're like, "Oh, this is the wrong move." Like you guys are backpedaling on what you said in the last series. This you like in this entire series. Even you guys have been saying that's not how the game is.
I like the starters to go
I've been
longer.
wanting them to come out and do 6 and 7 innings. You guys are the ones telling me that's not how they play the game anymore.
I wish it was.
So then he goes and does what he's done the whole season, and now he's the villain?
No, he's not the villain. No, not at all.
No, I mean, we know that's what he's done all season, but it doesn't mean in game 6.
You think that lost the game? So that's what you're saying, Thomas. You think that Kevin Cash lost the game by pulling Snell?
No, I'm thinking, well, no, because we wouldn't have won 1-0 no matter what.
Okay, so then
no way you're going to just hold them to 1.
Then what's the point of talking shit about that move?
Because depending on that move would have also depended on Dodgers pitchers. If we would have got out of that inning still up 1-0, the pitching for the Dodgers would have been different too.
No, it wouldn't have, because our hitters weren't doing anything. They're not judging their pitchers based on our pitching. They're judging their pitchers based on our hitting, and our hitting didn't do anything in this game. That's the hitter's fault. The guys at the plate lost the game tonight. That's all there is to it. And these guys couldn't even score more than 3 runs on average in the entire postseason.
Yeah.
Go look at the stats. That's a fact.
Oh no, I know.
Average less than 3 runs a game. So the pitching did its job. Kevin Cash did his job. The guys at the plate didn't do their job.
Yeah,
and that's where I'm going to leave it. And that's all I'm going to say.
Look at this. Stash, listen to this. Listen to this, right? You got Choi at 111. You got Meadows at 198. You got Renfroe at 125. Lau at 125. Wendell at 111. And Adames at 143. Those are all pretty much regular players in your lineup every single day for the most part. And that's what you got out of those guys. Rosarina can't do it all himself. He can't hit 5-run homers by himself.
Well, and KK stepped up in this series especially. Look at what's his average right now, over 300 in this series, right?
Yep. Yeah,
Kiermaier and that guy's batting barely over 200 in the regular season. This guy comes in and is hitting over 300 in the World Series.
Yep.
Rosarina doing his job, and you got Lau. What? Lousy at the plate is what he is. Lousy.
Right.
The whole postseason.
The entire postseason.
Yep.
He had a few strokes that made us all hopeful he was going to get back on. He never got back on, right? Like, it's all on the guys at the plate. And I'm not going to bury this team. And that's what I didn't want to do, come on the show and bury this team, because, man, I love these guys. And I'm proud of the effort. Not the effort. I'm proud of what they did.
Great year.
In this season, and to go up against this team and play them the way they did, they deserve all the props and all the love and all the accolades that we as a sports town can give them.
So real quick, Stash, I don't know if you've seen, but as soon as the game was over, they announced that Josh Turner had tested positive for COVID. And that's why he ended up getting yanked from the game. A lot of people, I know you can't read the comments because I've done this on my phone before too. So a lot of the comments are complaining how they allowed him to play with knowing he had COVID.
Knowing? How do we know when they knew? I don't know.
I would imagine they got the results during the middle of the game, would they?
Like they got
as soon as they got the results, he's out. Yeah. Like it's not like they're like, oh, he got the results 3 games ago, and we'll just wait till the middle of game 6 to pull them.
I wonder how that happens. Wouldn't they have those results before the game? Like, why would
You
they
would
have?
think so.
It's just odd.
And then real quick from Amy, because I know you're friends with Amy, so her comment: Snell was lights out. Cash did what he did all season. Bats were cold again. Do I wish he would have kept Snell in? Yes. Either way, we proved a lot of people wrong this season. Proud of my boys.
Yeah.
He's frozen again.
Yeah. Oh, there he is.
There he's back.
And he's gone. Yeah,
I like the fact that the Dodgers didn't either. They just let Reyes. He was on fire. Let him pitch, and that was it. We had no answer. That was it. I mean, completely dominated when he was pitching. So it's a shame. It's a shame.
Well, and we talked about it too. This is the Dodgers team that's been there 3 out of the last 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
A team that has been close, and Mookie Betts was hot in game 1, and then nothing for the entire series, and then he hit that last home run to make it 3-1. You can't really be mad at the Dodgers winning if you're a baseball fan. I know as a Rays fan, man, it sucks. We didn't win it, right? But as a baseball fan, you can't really be mad about the Dodgers winning, even with their payroll and everything else. They're not the Yankees, right? They've tried to go out and kind of build it the right way. So they've tried to they've paid for their players, but they've tried to get a quality kind of homegrown staff within that, right? You know what I mean? Like that's like a close-knit team, not just a team of superstars that they go and buy and put in a lineup, right? Yeah. So like you like that, and you see a lot of promise in this Rays team, and I mean Cash isn't going anywhere, right?
So real quick, Seager wins the MVP award. Snell's comment is it was the 3rd time through the lineup, but I'll make the adjustments to see them. I believe in myself. And then says that I just lost it. He was talking about Cash, how
well, you saw he was pissed again when he got pulled. He was very angry. You could tell that.
Snell said Cash is usually right. There is no reason to point fingers that if Anderson would have gotten out of it, no one would be talking about it.
Exactly.
Right. And again, two runs given up, right? The Mookie Betts home run late, yes, that happened. But I'm not talking about that because that's late.
Yeah.
Everyone's talking about early in the game and it's 1-0. I don't think the Cash made the wrong call there. If you only give up we talked about it last night. They only give up 4 runs last night. And I said, hey, if you only give up 4 runs to this team, you're feeling pretty good. And everyone agreed, right? So we only give up 2 runs tonight. You're feeling way better about that.
Yeah. I think it's just an easier thing to talk about or to second guess than to have you basically talk about how your entire lineup didn't hit with the exception of a couple of guys, right? That's much easier to say this one decision is what cost us the series. But we talked about this earlier. The first couple of innings, a lot of traffic on the base for the Rays, couldn't push more runs across, had chances again to get out early, didn't do it. And that's really been it. That's really been the lack of timely hitting, I think, is really the ultimate demise of them in this series. And it's not going to be this one move. This one move is going to get a lot of attention, and people are going to, why did they do that? Is that why they lost? No. But it's something people can look at and say, that's something we could pin the loss on, even though it's not.
Well, yeah, it will always be the reason why they didn't. In future World Series, it's going to be always, that's the what do they call it when the Cubs hadn't won in whatever many years.
A jinx or
right. This is the curse of the Tampa Bay Rays. So until they win it, and they'll talk about that forever. They're not going to talk about the bats. if he stays in,
That's the only conversation in this series.
they won't. You won't see that after this tonight. If you look at Twitter, that is the only thing anybody was talking about.
Right.
But
That's why they do the show.
Even your writers.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all. I mean, and had you left him in and had Mookie hit him, and then people would have been complaining that we let him go.
Oh, Cash, you left him in. Cash,
right.
Lose for Cash.
Snell hasn't been dealing this entire postseason. He's been struggling. How dare you leave him in there? Yeah.
This was, but we talked about it last show how we needed Cy Young. And we got and we did.
What we also talked about though. We said the band had to show up.
Well,
that's
right.
What we said in
well, I think we all agree that the bats lost it, but tonight's game,
how is it 75% on Cash? If the bats lost
on tonight's game, on tonight's game, I think Game 6 of the World Series, where you can be losing, loser goes home if you're the Rays. I think you have to take that chance.
I think that's
when he's only given up two. When he's only given up 2 hits the whole game.
I think you do what you did. We've talked about it how many times? Like we could do a drinking game on the show of how many times we've used the phrase "dance with the one what brung you," or "you did what got you here," right? And Cash did what got him here, just like he did in Game 6 with Morton or whatever it was, Game 7 with Morton, and we pulled him. And I was all pissed off, and you guys were trolling me on Twitter. Oh, Stash is gonna be mad because old Uncle Charlie got pulled early, right? And then he makes the same move, and now suddenly it's like, oh, let's talk so much shit about him. Cash did not lose this game.
2 hits on a Game 6. It's a lot different.
Did Cash lose last night's game? Did Cash lose last night's game?
No, the batters did.
Exactly. They lost it again tonight. They had it in their possession last night, and it shouldn't have even been an elimination game tonight. And they didn't get the job done last night. So I just don't understand how suddenly, because he makes a move to pull his starting pitcher, and it didn't result in 5, 6, 7 runs. It resulted in 2 runs against the best offense in baseball, and that's the worst move you've ever fucking seen. Calm down, social media. Please, calm down.
There you go. It's kind of like if they had said, we want to drastically alter the lineup to see if we can score more runs. And they were like, we're going to go with the guys that have gotten us here. Kind of the same concept. Pitching the same way. Maybe we would have liked to seen some changes, perhaps. Maybe get some other guys in there. But yeah, to your point, Stash, he was going to do what got him here and stick with the guys that got him here one way or the other. And it didn't end up working out. But again, not his fault.
It worked more often than not, didn't it? Right?
Yeah, absolutely. It just didn't work out in the series. They just didn't hit
to the World Series.
You could have the best pitching in the world. You can make all the moves you want. If you don't hit, you're not going to win. So that's just the way it goes. So,
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's take a look at some of these comments here. The Lewis Dragoon. Great season, though. We nearly took it, but the Dodgers were the better team at the end there. Can't deny that. They were the better team at the end. I like this one from Gene here. Hey, the Rays did what I wanted them to do. They beat the Yankees and the cheater Astros. Snell was dynamic tonight. The Dodgers were the best team in the majors. All why?
Year.
Supposed to be here.
Yeah. I mean, this was the perfect World Series. I mean, you had the number 1 team in the NL, the number 1 team in the AL, so it ended up shaping out perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You really can't ask for more than that.
And then the Dodgers was the number 1 team of the league, so to win it.
Well, and their offense was way better than ours. I mean, that's what it just comes down to. Our pitching was pretty much equally matched. Their bats were better.
Yeah.
Yeah, way better. I mean, most of the games in this series, they had 10+ hits in. Like we could not compete with that. I think kind of the real crime is that, we weren't able to go to these games at the Trop. The team wasn't able to kind of take advantage of the revenue. The world wasn't able to see that, we will rally behind this team. And like, that is kind of what hurts the most as a 98er.
They announced 11,000 there. 11,000 was there at the field tonight. but they said about 9,000 of them were Dodger fans.
Yeah. Well,
Did they count every single one of them? I mean, how did they come up with that?
How many mail-in tickets were there? Were there mail-in tickets?
You could definitely hear the crowd anytime the Dodgers people got up. It was definitely Dodger friendly there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, LA, that's a much more affluent city per capita anyways, right? And honestly, it's a little bit easier to make that flight out to Texas from the West Coast than it is from the East Coast because of the time change.
You could drive.
Yeah. Well, right. It's easier. Yeah, exactly. The time change is a big difference for us going out west and then coming back versus being out west, going to Middle State, and then going back to West Coast. It's a lot different. But also, the Dodgers have been around for how many 100 years? You know what I mean? The Rays have been around for like 7. So, right? Like, okay, I'm not mad at that. That's a good showing by Rays fans. And I saw a lot of people that were there for all 3 games over the weekend or whatnot, you know? So, and if you look at the stands and some of the reactions to when a Rosarena scored, what was that in game 4 or game 5? Or game 4, there was a lot of people in the background celebrating that the Rays had won, regardless of what they were wearing, whether it was like not Rays gear but not Dodgers gear. There were a lot of people celebrating when the Rays won that game. So there's probably a good amount of undecided fans there, just baseball fans. I saw guys in the Astros gear there, you know, in the stands. So
People root for their dogs.
yeah. So
yeah.
Yeah. And gosh, with all this crazy kind of COVID, Louis Dragon brought it up again. We mentioned that earlier. Justin Turner tested positive and played in the game. Man, if Cash didn't make that move, Stash, we would have had a free ride in game 7 with half the Dodgers players out with COVID.
oh, no, you know what? You told me, sold me. It's totally Cash's fault. You're right. No.
Right. You know, that's kind of weird. Like, how's Justin Turner going to celebrate with the team? Like, I guess he's going to celebrate in his own little bubble, huh?
Quarantine in the corner.
No, he's not now. No, he's not going to celebrate with his team.
No.
Yeah. So that's what you get.
That's a bizarre thing, isn't it?
It is kind of weird how he played in the game, but you know, it doesn't really matter. It was an awesome season. Really, it was a good season, and that's what we should be celebrating on this show. I mean,
yeah,
not there's one team every year that wins the World Series. The Dodgers have been there every single year, it seems like, for so long. The Rays, I think there were people that thought the Rays could make it there, but you know, nobody really believed that at the beginning of the season that we'd be sitting here at game 6 losing to the Dodgers or even winning the World Series if it went that way. By the way, I keep forgetting we got Chris here waiting. And by the way, this is the #1 show to watch in your car and call in on in your car. So keep that in mind.
We got 2 of them tonight.
Oh, he's late. No, I saw Thunder though. I was the OG car caller tonight.
What's up, man?
Chris, lift our spirits here.
Oh.
Hey, man, like, I think you said it best, man. Like, look, man, I'm a person that jumps to conclusions really quickly, and the Rays, if you followed me throughout this whole season, I think the Rays went on like a 4 or 5 game losing streak very early on in the season, and I just went really ballistic on Twitter. And for them to, you know, I knew they had the playoffs, but the question they answered for me is, could they get to the World Series? And they did that. You know, I mean, I'm happy they made it to the World Series. Would I have liked them to win it? Yes. But the Dodgers were basically the Lightning the last 5 or 6 years. You know, they were so close to winning it and getting over the hump, and they finally did it. You know, I don't think you can put this game on Cash. I wouldn't. He's probably still going to likely win Manager of the Year. But when I said it earlier, man, you can't waste this performance that Snell gave you tonight by only scoring 1 run. You know, like, if you score 4 runs, 5 runs, you probably win this game, no matter what Cash's decision was. If he just still decided to pull Snell on the 6th, you just couldn't. The bats weren't there. The run support wasn't there, and you're not going to beat the Dodgers, who literally like everyone on that team pretty much just hit a home run against you. You're not going to win 1-0 in Game 6 of the World Series. Sorry.
Nope.
But no, I mean, you can't really. I mean, look, you never know. Like the hardest part is the thing is you'll never know what would have happened. And that very next pitch, Snell could have pitched, a ground ball hit to shortstop and you got a double play, or the next hit could have been jacked for a home run. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
But especially with Snell, and especially with his postseason that he's had, that guy was dealing, and I said he had to deal, and I knew he was ready to deal, but the caveat to that was that the guys had to hit behind him. They had to support him. Yep. You can't expect to beat this team with 1 run on the board.
It can't be. Yeah, it can't be just Randy and every once in a while low. Like.
By the way, he is your fucking daddy. Randy is your daddy. That's my Twitter name for the rest of the year until January 1. My Twitter name will be Randy is your daddy because MLB, he is your daddy.
Don't.
Anyways,
wait till I put Randy in the script for the Thanksgiving video, so I'll get that sent out to you tomorrow when I'm done finalizing it. But you know what I mean, like Adames was 3 for 20 or 3 for 21 in this series, and he was probably
plate appearances. Yep.
And he just, he was really. He hit a slump probably around like game 45 of the season, and he just never got out of it.
3 strikeouts tonight? Did he have? Did I see that? 3 strikeouts he had?
I don't know if he had 3. I think he had 2 and a ground out.
And then he took strike.
I think he had 2 and a ground out.
He took the last 2 pitches of the game. Yep.
No, he had 3. He had 3 strikeouts tonight.
3 strikeouts.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was really hoping. I was really hoping Brasso would walk and Adames would just jack it, but
how many times did the Rays strike out? Good Lord.
I think it was like 15 strikeouts.
It was insane.
No, 16 strikeouts, and it was still, even though we didn't hit that well, 6 left on base.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it was crucial to kind of the thing is if you're going to win this game, you're going to have to put up 4 runs against Gosselin, and then, hopefully that holds. But,
what did I say?
I honestly thought Buehler would come out for that ninth inning and close it out, but
didn't need
left
to.
On base. I was preaching left on base since the very first round of this playoffs. It's going to come back to bite us in the ass. Hitting with runners in scoring position and runners left on base. You lose there's and you had 6 guys left on base against even when you were hitting that well, you still had that many guys reach, and you can't. Last night, 1st and 3rd, no outs, and you can't get that guy on. You can't get that guy across the plate.
Yep.
This looks like
whereas the Dodgers were.
The Rays need to do something to help complement their power. Right? Like, it's okay to be a power hitting team, but at some point you have to have something in your back pocket for when that isn't quite working, to be able to change up a little bit.
Manufacture something.
Yeah, just to keep your head in the game, even if you're not winning those games, to be competitive. So then the next day you're ready to go out.
But here's my.
No.
Here's teams in home runs through the regular season, and most of the games they won. Most of the season wasn't by the home run. It was, they were able to play small ball, and they weren't able to play small ball in the World Series or in this postseason. Really, it was home run or nothing for the most part.
Hold on, I got to share this tweet that I just saw. It's funny. It's a joke. The guy with COVID stayed in the game longer than the guy that threw the shutout. I was throwing a shutout.
That's pretty
2020. 2020.
And you know what?
Yeah, I mean,
the manager of the Dodgers, and the dude, he's had some questionable calls that cost him World Series games, and maybe.
Yeah.
Totally.
I don't think this is the last time you're going to see the Rays in the World Series. I mean, they have a very good chance next year to be back. I mean, they have so many prospects right now. I think had it been a regular season, would have been playing this year. Probably, I think Franco probably would have been playing in the World Series this year. Had it been a regular season, he probably would have got called up, towards the end of the year.
Yeah. Well, we talked about it in Game 3 too. Some of the pitching that that's the crazy thing is that they talked about how this bullpen got so many more outs or more innings pitched than the starters, but that wasn't even the guys that did that got into postseason, right? Like some of our best guys in the bullpen didn't even get to the postseason. So, and those are young guys that aren't really going anywhere, like for the most part. So this team isn't going anywhere, right? So to me, that's it starts to see. And maybe next year with a regular season, you see Snell get back to that 6 or 7 innings pitch, like we talked about earlier in the show, in the postseason. We talked about that. Maybe next year with the regular season, he gets back to that. But right now, with the COVID and everything else that's going on, Cash played the hand the way he played it every time he saw it come across the table, and that's how you win when it comes to consistency, right? Consistency, and the numbers show you that you win that way. Tonight just didn't quite pan out, and more than anything, again, there was a guys that played that didn't do their job more than anybody else in the last 2 games. Not even tonight. The last 2 games, guys at the plate didn't do their job.
Yeah, that's what it came down to. I mean, if you're going to beat the Dodgers, you got to look how the Braves did it, man. The Braves had the bats that can match the Dodgers, and they still lost. Yep. That's how good the Dodgers team is. I mean, 99% of the league, they were 43-17. 99% of the league or the teams face couldn't beat them. And if you don't have the bats that's going to complement the pitching, especially against a team that has the bats, you're not going to win.
Yep.
Man, I
was hoping for a Game 7 just to make things interesting, but
so can I read some of these?
It is what it is, man.
Some of these famous people's tweets. Don't get mad. Don't kill the messenger, Stash. But just first, we'll do Steven Stamkos. I would have kept Snellzilla in. Patrick Mahomes. Crazy he gave up only a second hit of the game and got pulled. Dick Vitale. I love Kevin Cash, but come on, 70 pitches, dominant. Give me a break. Can you imagine a manager coming out, taking the ball from Seaver, Gibson, Cole, plus Snellzilla is a Cy Young winner. Chipper Jones. Dude has 9K 2-hit shutout with 75 pitches, and you yank him? Fire me. I'm riding my horse. Now 2-1 Dodgers. Jeff Passan. The next three.
Chipper got it done, right?
Jefferson, the next 3 hitters Blake Snell was due to face. Mookie Betts, Corey Seager, and Justin Turner were all 0 for 6 with 6 strikeouts tonight against Blake Snell. But Betts just doubled off Nick Anderson's second and third with 1. Noah, I always have a hard time saying his last name. Syndergaard. So who gets to pull the manager? Stephen A. Smith. Why in the hell would Kevin Cash take Snell out of his game at this point? Just because he gave up 1 hit.
You know what? I wanted to throw something out there, kind of totally different topic. So with everything going on with COVID, right, and the revenues that teams have lost with no fans, how much is this going to impact free agency, player movements, who's going to be available? Some brought up the point about team option on Charlie Morton. What do the Rays do with something like that? how aggressive are they going to be? Because are they more aggressive because prices are going to be down theoretically because there's not as much revenue out there? Possibly. But I'm just curious if maybe this is one of those off seasons where the Rays can actually get a little more aggressive than maybe they would be in the past, because I think the market will be somewhat deflated because of COVID and revenue loss.
And I think they're gonna. Well, I think number one, yeah, they will pick up the option on Charlie Morton. Steve Adler just asked. I think definitely they picked that up. But I think they'll spend the money because a lot of these teams are going to try to make up revenue for what they lost this year. So you need to get some people in the seats next season.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a similar situation, kind of like the NHL, except there's no salary cap, and it's a little bit different structuring of contracts. So teams like the Rays will be able to go out and be a little bit maybe more aggressive. I see no reason why you don't pick up that option on Uncle Charlie. Like zero reason why you don't. And then I think you kind of go from there, right? With whoever else. Like, I'm not that up to date on the Rays contracts right now, but you know, I don't see how they can't be a buyer right now, right? Like, they don't have a super aggressive total. I think there's space, and I think there's room to kind of go and sneak with hopefully these guys a little bit more healthy in the bullpen next year.
Yeah, I think they know what they need now, right?
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing is some of these guys that were they're doing road work. The scary thing is like the pitching's fine. If you go to think about it, a lot of these pitchers that were pitching in the World Series were activated later in this year because of injury. You know, you're going to get Jalen Beeks back. You're going to get Chaz Rowe. Posh will be back. Like, you're getting a lot of pitchers who got hurt this year back next year. And hopefully they stay healthy. But the pitching's fine. Really,
yeah, the pitching's good, but how many times are they going to have a Rosarina up with nobody on base? And it seems like when they do get people on base is the time he can't come through with the hit. And for anyone I know you can't see this, Chris, but I have a hilarious image pulled up right now of Justin Turner and how he'll be celebrating, and it's basically an iPad on top of a little robot thing.
That looks like South Park.
So maybe they turn the work around.
For me, I think Willie Adames played himself out of town. I don't think he'll be back next year because you have a young prospect in Wander Franco that's sitting right behind him. I think he'll be ready to go. Choi, obviously, he'll be back. I think you're going to see some better hitters next year. I mean, the Rays were fine. They just died in the postseason. But Adames is good for his defense, but it's the Rays way, man. Like,
look,
you have some guys behind him that possibly
nobody really hit over 250 in this lineup, even in the regular season. Like, it's not like this lineup is really out there really doing their job. So this, to me, I feel like we're almost back to the Derek Shelton era of a hitting coach that just kept having a job, and yet you saw the same results year in and year out at the plate. Like, these guys weren't being developed at the plate. So where does that structure and that discipline as a coach at the plate come in the World Series, right? Like, how are you not there in Adames's ear all the time? Stop swinging the fucking bat, asshole, right? Like, Adames kept getting out on 3 to 4 pitches per at bat. That's what's the worst thing about him. It's not necessarily that he was getting out; it's that he was striking out, and then he was hardly seeing any pitches. Even whenever he was going up against a pitcher that was struggling, the guy still wasn't being patient. So how much of that is on the player, and how much of that is the guy getting paid to coach him up at the plate?
Right? Well, they obviously didn't make adjustments because every time he was up to bat, it seemed like he was swinging for the fences, not to make contact, but just swinging for the fences. And you can't, if you're a struggling hitter, the most important thing is to first start making contact again with the baseball.
Right.
So your really only free agents for the Rays are going to be Zunino and Luke. Are going to be
either one of those are sad if you let either one of those guys go.
No.
Right?
No.
I don't think you're sad if either one of those guys go. And you're getting addition by subtraction, if you will, from guys coming off the injured list with pitchers, right?
Who was the second? Oh, who was the second one? Chazro?
No, Luke.
Luke.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean,
which he came in and did his work after the Yankees series, where he came in and kind of blew out early. He came in and redeemed himself for the rest of the postseason for sure. But I still feel like there's a lot more depth in that bullpen where he can easily, you don't have to worry about trying to keep him over somebody else as long as they get healthy again next year, right? So, and then, man, I don't know. They just don't. I mean, it's not like Mike Piazza's grow on trees or anything, but it would be really nice if the Rays could go out and find a catcher that could actually hit for fucking average for once in their entire existence. Am I wrong?
They had one last year, and they let him go to the Braves.
Yeah.
How about a trade for Gary Sanchez? What do you think?
They had Travis. Yeah. The guy with the most punchable face in the MLB. No, thank you.
Listen, a fresh start might be good. I can get him cheap.
Yeah.
Oh, you can get them? You can get them for us?
Hey,
well, no,
because not the case, Rays
there's
Nation.
a possibility. There is an actual that he's going to be non-tendered by the Yankees this year.
Yeah.
So he'll be a free agent.
I don't think he's going back to the Yankees, but the Rays had a guy in 2019, Travis D'Arnaud, and they let him walk to the Braves. And I think that was a mistake because he was
they drafted him too, right? Didn't they drafted him?
I don't think they drafted him. I think he
was a trade.
They traded him.
Yeah. That's right. He was. Yeah.
But he was, I felt like they had a catcher, but obviously money played a big issue. They weren't able to afford him, so they got Mike Zunino. I think he's got like a $5 million option next year.
It's crazy to me.
I like Zunino. He just has way too many pass balls.
Well, right, and I mean he did a pretty good job in the first couple of series, but I also think that as much as maybe the pitching wasn't as consistent with getting the balls to the catcher, he wasn't as sharp as he was in the first two series here in the World Series. Because keeping those balls in front of him and getting those balls in his glove, I feel like maybe whatever it was, he just wasn't quite as sharp later on in the postseason as it was early on.
Zunino's $4.5 million.
Yeah, a big thing for Glass now is, I mean, he was 11-0 prior to entering the series, and then, he lost his two starts. The biggest thing for Glass now in the offseason, though, is to work on that. He needs to get a third and fourth pitch. Develop that changeup. Maybe work on. I love the slider. I think he should work on developing that slider too. Because I think he'll be much more effective in big games like that. You can't just throw a fastball and a curveball.
Well, I think he's a little bit young still too. He's still a little bit young, so he doesn't understand this nuance of pitching sometimes. When you have that gas, 70 miles an hour is just as impactful as 99.
Sure.
It's just a matter of your location. And that's only going to get better, I think, with a guy like him.
Yeah.
And his location is only going to get better. And that's what's going to make him even more like that. So, yeah, again, I don't think Glass now lost the World. The guy should have hit for him last night.
No.
They should have hit for Snell tonight. Right? So, you look back-to-back games where, you had that game where they came out and it was fast, and you felt like maybe there was some momentum. But I'm not going to lie, in the back of my mind, there was this tickling little thought. It's like, well, that was all the Rays had. That was it. That was their one shot. And that's what it kind of turned out to be, right? These last two games, they didn't have anything left in the tank. So
like I said earlier, the The key was you wanted to at least have 4 runs against Gunn because you only knew he was going to pitch maybe 2 innings. I don't even think he went 2 innings. But if you would have scored 4 runs maybe in the first 2 innings, I think the Rays have a better shot. Obviously, with the Dodgers only scoring 3 runs, but I just think like 4, you had to score at least 4 runs against the Dodgers to beat them. And that's true for every game.
Yep, no matter what.
Do you think the pitcher, the new rule, the pitcher coming in for three batters also changed some things this year?
Yes,
I think it does, but it's also too like if he comes in on like the second out and strikes the guy out, then he doesn't have to come out the next inning.
Right.
But what I think Cash was hoping for is that because I think Nick Anderson has a lot of, most of his pitches led to ground balls, and he was hoping that you get a ground ball, you get the double play, you get out of the inning, you're still up 1-0. But the thing is Mookie Betts he's going to hammer right-handed pitchers, and he's really bad against left-handed pitchers. So it was kind of interesting why Cash went with Nick Anderson over, like, I don't know, whoever your left-handed pitchers are. Is Luke left-handed, I believe, right? Or is he right?
Yep. No, Luke's left.
He's left-handed? Yeah, I probably would have went with Luke in that situation and then maybe let Nick Anderson go your next inning or so.
I would have went
just
Fairbanks instead of Anderson.
Well, he's a right-hander.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're gonna throw,
I think in that situation you want to put the left-hander because Mookie Betts is really bad against left-handed pitchers, and Blake Snell struck him out twice then in the night. So I don't know. It is what it is. The Rays lost.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda. It's over now.
I
I mean, come on. What are you, Mr. Cash hindsight here?
The
Get out of
better
here,
team's always
man.
gonna win.
Give us
Most
your
of the
last
time.
thoughts because we're wrapping up soon. I'm kicking you out of here.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was fun. I appreciate you guys doing this post-game show, giving me and a lot of other fans a place to vent or, just celebrate. That's my final thought.
Yeah.
Raise
Well,
up.
we can all still celebrate a great season, Chris. So thanks for calling in and joining us for these shows. Appreciate you,
Yeah,
man.
man. Appreciate.
Drive safe.
Yep.
Eyes on the road. All right, let's go around one more time, and we will wrap up the 2020 version of We the 98ers. Stash, give us some positive news here.
I mean, how can you be sad right now? Honestly, how can you
I'm
be
a
sad?
little sad. I'm a little sad, but it'll be okay.
I mean, I'm disappointed, but I'm not sad.
Right.
Like, I wanted my team to win, right? But I'm not sad that we lost to the Dodgers. That team is really freaking good. That manager is really good, despite of all the people that have been trying to throw him under the bus for the last few years. And that team is an LA team. And we went toe-to-toe with them for 6 games. We really did. I mean, how many runs did we lose by cumulatively in this series? Not a lot.
30. No,
They were
I have
all-
no idea.
Right. No, it was rhetorical, but it was close, is the point I'm making. It was a close game every game. Less than 2 runs decided every game, I believe. So you're proud of your boys. You're proud of your boys. You're proud of that little payroll, that little team that could, coming through COVID, coming through everything else. I'll take a World Series appearance from them boys down there. And I'm going to hold my head up, and I'm going to go get my ALCS gear. I'm going to rock that championship attire just as proudly as I rock my Stanley Cup championship attire. Because them boys went out, they played their asses off, and they made this town proud to be Rays fans.
Yeah, and screw the West,
Well
you
said.
know? Or no, I guess it's not the West. It's the, the AL East. Never mind. Mark, sorry.
What were we trying to say?
National.
We just
no
fired our
idea.
host, everybody. Hopefully, we're taking applications for next season. Mark, you're up.
Oh man, no, like you said, Stash, disappointing, but you've got to be proud as a fan to the accomplishments of this team this year. They did a tremendous job. It's going to be a lot of fun next year. Hopefully things will be back to normal. But the thing is, like, spring training is what, in February, and let's see if this thing is somewhat being controlled or to some degree, so we can actually have a spring training and a regular normal season next year. But lots to look forward to for next year. Great year for the guys. And as a Yankee fan, I'm envious of the organization and the young talent. Certainly the pitching up and down the rotation, both ends, etc. So kudos to the Rays. Great year, boys.
Yeah, I mean, I think this really put the Rays. It's sad that everybody don't get to see the Rays, especially during this COVID time. But we're always crapped on in the league. The Lightning is always crapped on. It's always the Tampa Bay market. It's never taken serious as a sports town. And I think a lot of people came together. I really wish we could have played here at the Trop, even though Mark hates the Trop, but it would have been rocking.
That's Stash.
Stash, sorry. And then, they've shown the watch parties here locally on the news and stuff over at the pier and stuff like that. And they've been pretty busy. And so I think it's hopefully bringing a whole new life of baseball fans for the Rays. And it's been fun doing this with you guys, and Rays up for next year.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well said. I just want to thank the Rays for a pretty awesome season. I mean, think about all the moments we had just in the last couple weeks with the Brosseau home run, the Brett Phillips miracle
World Series
walk off, an amazing kind of moment there. And there were so many other moments even throughout the season with those damn Yankees that we all know about.
Bring up the Brosseau home run.
Well, because you threw at his head, and that's how all this started. So I don't know. This season got me pumped up, and I'm not a baseball guy, but I'll tell you one thing I always do is I always support this team. And a lot of us that are out there that have been watching this playoffs need to do the same thing, because you guys complain about not having more hitters on this team. Go support the team so they have more money to spend.
Yeah.
Okay. So and go. I don't know when we'll be able to go back to the Trop. When we know it's not the Stash's favorite place to watch the game. It's not my favorite place to watch the game.
Listen, as a fan base, we go burn it down. Then they have to build a new stadium. It's simple. It's very simple.
Well, now that this is on tape, let's not.
It's simple arsonomics. Okay, it's simple arsonomics. Right?
The Rays get enough from revenue sharing. They could spend some freaking money already. Come on.
I totally agree.
There's that too. But everyone wants a stadium in Tampa. I mean, we got to start showing up to games. We got to start supporting this team more. The reason why Shooter and Stash never covered the Rays that much is because we did do a couple Rays videos and nobody watched them. So I kind of gave up on them, and I'll be the first one to admit that was a mistake. The Rays have a great fan base, and we need to go out.
Bad ownership, great fan base. So. Just to wrap it all up, since this is kind of the last episode before we go into kind of the next iteration of whatever we're gonna do. Shout out to everyone that's been through all this postseason, post-game shows. It's been fun, but it has been a little bit rough getting out there for every night, back-to-back nights, staying up till 12:30, 1 o'clock. But you guys have been there. You've been there, even if it's 3 or 4 of you. You've been there chatting with us. You've been there commenting with us. You've made it fun enough for us to sit there and make sure that we had to be there. I'm here on one of my best friends in the world's birthday, doing this from my truck because I was hoping for a win, but when it's a loss, I still had to be there for you guys because you guys have been there for us, for Shooter and the Stash, for Mark, for the Professor. If it wasn't for you out there as fans watching the show, hanging out with us, commenting, being a part of it, there's no point in any of this being here anyways, right? So shout out to all you guys. Shout out to Steve at Aced Out Clothing for bringing us the 98ers gear, for inspiring the name of the show in a roundabout kind of way, and for all his support, man. And we're going to keep it going. That's one thing you can guarantee about us and Shooter in the Stash. We're not going anywhere. Just like this Rays team, we're here for the long haul. So I hope you guys as fans are here too, and we'll do our best to be quality entertainment for you as long as you watch us.
We will do
Real
our
quick,
best.
exclusive for Tampa Bay fans. If you go on a stout, and you're a Bucks fan, they're currently doing pre-orders for the 76ers and the creamsicle for the
Steve
Bucks.
did it again. Steve's done it again.
There you go.
That genius.
All right, so final sign off. It didn't end the way we wanted it to, but it's been a great run for the Rays. Thank you guys for joining us through all this. That goes for you, Mark, too.
It's been a
and everyone else that's been along for the ride. Hey, hopefully we'll be back here next year about the same time celebrating a World Series win. But until then, this has been We, the 98ers. Don't forget to be a 98er and raise up.
Raise up.